Maybe that'll. There we go. I had to click on video.
Yeah,
I
there
thought
we
you
go.
could the whole time.
Hey,
Hey, hey! What
welcome to
up?
the internet.
Big internet! Hey, I'm glad you can see me now. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Actually, this is my first time ever Skyping with someone with video on video.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's cool, eh? It feels like we're in the future.
the future. Well, we're not talking to each other through our iPhones, so it's not quite
No,
the future.
we could be though. Do you have an iPhone?
No, I'm getting one. I am so getting one.
You have to get one. FaceTime is cool. Like I barely ever use it, but when I do, I'm like, I'm George Jackson. Like,
All right. Well, I guess I'm just gonna do like a little intro. Uh,
yeah.
so for those who don't know who this lovely lady in front of me is, this is Lauren O'Neill, and I'd like to call her a social media guru, but I think we've had an issue with that before.
Yeah, guru. Ooh, I don't like that term.
So, what would you describe yourself as?
Well, I generally call myself an internet kid or like a multimedia ninja. The title on my business card says community manager, and when I do freelance stuff, and they call me just like a reporter or a content producer. So
Okay, well, if I were, I'm pretty sure I'd prefer the ninja title for sure. Like
that's
a
good.
lot better, yeah. So I guess, how long have you been this multimedia ninja?
Oh man, not too long, I guess. Not professionally, anyways. I've been doing web and internet and production stuff since high school, but I just graduated from Western in May and came to Toronto, and I guess I just sort of jumped right into it. I started at the Star. I did an internship there, and it kind of got around that I was like into multimedia stuff. So all of the more experienced senior journalists would use me to teach them how to do things like find sources on Twitter and things like that. So they just
Okay.
call you.
I guess, so you've been around doing like, you've been doing blogging for a very long time from what I understand. Um,
Yeah,
Probably since like the internet started, no I'm kidding.
3 years ago.
But like, so you've been around to see a lot of these changes we have in the internet. Like, remember when we had the change from print to web writing? You have to make everything a lot more concise.
Mhm.
And now we have to do everything in 140 characters or less. And like a bit of it is we have new mediums, and that requires new kinds of content. So a lot of the times we have to shift the way we produce our news, right?
Totally.
So like we've got a lot of different things coming up. Like yeah. So basically, actually, it's a better question. Do you think that the way mediums have shifted recently has really affected the way we have to think about producing our news? Not just where we go to get it or how we distribute it, but actually how we edit it or how we think of what the final product might be.
Oh, completely. I mean, like you said, the way that we consume news now has changed significantly. So, as a news producer, I think that we need to take that into consideration. Our audiences aren't sitting down in the morning with the newspaper necessarily. A lot of them are, but a lot of people are getting news in new ways, and they're expecting things quickly, concisely, instantly almost. And I think with this entire new media culture, we're in an environment where we look at our tweet feed and we're seeing things constantly coming down the pipe in 140 characters or less, and we get spoiled, we get used to it. So when I want to know something right away, when I hear about, a hotel in Mexico, there's an explosion, I'm not going to wait until tomorrow morning to pick up the newspaper to find out about it. I'm going to go online, and if the major news outlets have an update about it, I'm going to go to Twitter and I'm going to search, and I'm going to see if maybe somebody was there who's tweeting about it, because I need to know right now what happened, because I'm just used to that, as a consumer. So I think as a producer, you need to take that into account, and you need to give the audience what they want, or you're going to become obsolete and fall behind, because someone will.
All right. Well, so we have to keep the audience happy. I get that. Do you think that with this, like the really cracking news, now breaking news is almost obsolete itself. Like as we have breaking Twitter feed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, And you said we kind of get spoiled with this. Is this kind of in any way diluting the, I guess, the necessity of like print, radio, or TV, or is this kind of significant of a shift towards new media, so that everything is quicker, way faster, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think the issue, from a lot of what I'm seeing, it's a generational thing. I think that people our age really do expect things quickly because we grew up with these tools and we know how to use them. But when you look at an older demographic, I think of my parents, like my mom and dad, they'll use the internet maybe for work a little bit, for a little bit of entertainment. But my mom is still going to be looking at the TV when she wants breaking news because it's just not as easy for them, for a lot of people. And, you know, you do get people who are baby boomers and above that can use these new technologies very, very well. But the majority of people I see a lot of them are intimidated by it, or they're too busy to learn how to use it. So we're in this really, really unique, weird place and time right now across a lot of industries, and especially news, because it's something that I think people across every demographic we're all interested in news. So yeah, it's hard to know whether new media is really diluting or, you know, making any forms of media obsolete at this point, because you have strong advertising still, older demographics. I think in 20 years, able to take and see maybe newspapers will finally be dead. Maybe TV won't be as popular. But I mean, I see right now, I think the boomers are the largest demographic population-wise. They spend the most money. They're huge, and they just aren't embracing new media the way that we are as a whole. I mean, you have individual cases here and there, like Wayne McPhail for one, who are like, you know, you got the older new media gurus that are grown-ups, but on the whole, a lot of people, they don't trust new media either. You know, they don't see internet websites as legit. You know, it's, oh, why would I trust that? It's on the internet, so.
All right. Well, I guess as long as we're producing new content in different ways, and I guess my next question would be, how do you think new technologies and new applications like Photoshop's browser-based, you know, or even the iPhone, which is capable of video editing, audio editing, and even then distributing, you know, how do you think these new tools are going to help, I guess, media journalists like yourself put out new media, new content?
Well, I think exponentially, man, they're amazing. It's wonderful that I can go out and edit something with my iPhone 4. I have Final Cut Pro. It cost me $5 for the app. And I can actually go out to something, and edit it on my iPhone. Yeah, it's crazy, and send it in. So if I have an editor that wants something right away, I can get it to them. A lot of the work I do now on scene reporting is pretty entertainment-based, and a lot of that is immediate. You know, you go out to a concert or a show or a festival or a big event, and people are Googling it like that night. They're looking. Somebody goes out to, I was at this Peace.Love festival on Thursday, and it's like a big anti-violence fundraiser, and Big Boy was headlining. By the time I got home from that, people were already, you know, tweeting about looking for pictures, looking for video. So if you can really cash in on that and push that video out, even from the scene, you're going to get more of an audience to your website. So with news, it's the same thing. If you're the Star, the Toronto Star, and I know a lot of these newspapers, they are competitive with other newspapers. So say someone from the Toronto Star or Toronto Sun goes out to the same fire or some breaking news. Okay. One of them is able to send video back to the newsroom to push up on the web right away. They're going to be like, yay, win, we beat the Sun. So, you know, it's just allowing us to do our jobs faster and give more content to the audience as opposed to just text. We can actually show them what's going on. It's just
so we've gone a long way from calling in stories via the phone, you know, and so what you're saying is that production, the way it's changed so far, is allowing us to make news quicker, and really that's how the media's been changing as well, the one for which we have to consider everything. So here we have an example in our little outline for our project, which is, do you think that reporters are going to start being sent into the scene with an iPhone 4 in hand? You know, do you think that that's a possibility soon? That'll be we'll have our desktop in our hand, you know, and all of the stuff we have to do is going to be right there. Do you think that's going to be a distinct possibility?
In the future, I hope that it is, because I think you can produce better. That said, it's not that way right now. I found it funny that you mentioned calling in, because like when I was at the Star this summer, I actually took calls from reporters who would call and dictate to us. We'd take dictation down for the web, and it's mind blowing, you know, like coming from J school where we're learning how to do all these really cool things. I'm like, you know, you've got a 50-year-old guy calling you to take dictation, and I'm like, you could have a netbook, you know what I mean? You could have a netbook with you and just type it.
It's simple.
But they just won't, and I think it's an attitude thing too. So, but I think in the future things will change, and I hope they do in that way, because it will allow us to do things more quickly. That said, I don't think that anyone can just go out with an iPhone and make you still a journalistic background. So if we can find that fusion between being technically skilled and journalistically skilled and put it together, that's your super future reporter right there.
Right on. And actually, kind of going off that, like you said, you helped train some of the Sun people
Stars.
in media. This. But so would you say that also as part of journalistic training, is new media training now definitely going to be something that we have to consider?
Yeah, completely. The media is changing. You know, with the profit model, it's just not the way it used to be. You're not making enough money off of newspapers to sustain it. So I think that people, any journalists out in the future, need to learn how to use these new media technologies, not just for production, but for research, for distribution. It enhances the way that they do their job. I would love to see in the future more reporters being able to use crowdsourced technologies to tap into what the people are doing and saying. Not a lot of that is being done, at least in Toronto from what I see. You know, the New York Times and bigger cities, but if more of that can be done in the future, I think it's really going to democratize news a little bit. Not so much that, you know, you have everyday citizens reporting in big branded media outlets, but you can have journalists from within these big branded media outlets who are trained to compile information. They can be taking things from what these citizens are saying. They can be getting more back from the community. So, yeah.
And then putting it all together is way easier now. So they just need to know. I guess it's kind of like we have to lead the horse to water. We have to get people to know what these tools are. That's part of the social media course we're taking, right? It's like these tools have been out there for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have to know how to use them. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap. I guess. Thanks for coming by to the internet over Skype. So everyone, this was Lauren O'Neill from Toronto. Question mark. All right, excellent. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay.